Environmental concerns came among the many calls for social reforms during the 1960s and 70s. It called for the conservation of nature and the balance of relations between environment and society. The environmental movement expanded greatly as many people realized the implications the environment had on modern-day life and found a new interest in nature. These same people adopted an interest in organic farming and recycling long before they were widespread.
The environmental movement has roots as early as the conservationist movement during the progressive era of the early 1900s. People were afraid that logging and mass removal of forests was affecting crop harvest as bird populations declined, and the fishing industry, where logging near fisheries occurred, declined as well. As more and more land became industrialized, people began to worry about the sustainability of flora and fauna, as some still got their food from hunting, fishing, and farming. Theodore Roosevelt was the first president to take action and set aside vast tracts of land as national parks and nature reserves, intended to be used as efficiently as possible, and continue to do so as long as the land could sustain it. Other conservationists, such as John Muir, felt the land should simply be left alone, as many environmentalists do today. Most conservationists, however, held to Roosevelt's train of thought. As part of the New Deal, FDR gave many jobs to many young men in conservation and restoration work, controlling the effects of the Dust Bowl, and establishing natural resource banks in the West. Several events sparked national concern about our environment. As people learned, using the land as efficiently as possible still harmed it, as the systems of nature were more complex than we originally understood, as detailed in Silent Spring, a book by Rachel Carson about the dangers of prolonged pesticide use on, of all things, birds, fish, and humans. In 1954, a fishing vessel was irradiated by a nuclear test on Bikini Atoll, having incredible repercussions on the boat's crew. The movement was, however, sparked by a massive oil spill in 1969 off the coast of Santa Barbara, California, spilling more than 15,000 cubic meters of crude oil and killing thousands of seabirds as well as marine animals such as dolphins, elephant seals, and sea lions.
Wisconsin Governor and Senator Gaylord Nelson pioneered the first Earth Day after his visit to Santa Barbara after the major oil spill. The first Earth Day was celebrated April 22nd by millions of Americans. Today, Earth Day is observed each year around the world. Prior to the 1970s, protection of air and water supplies was an issue that varied on a state-to-state basis. During the 1970s, this responsibility shifted to the federal government as a result of the environmental movement. The federal government passed legislation that would help protect and regulate the country's air and water supplies, such as the Clean Air Act of 1970, Water Pollution Control Act, National Environmental Policy Act, Endangered Species Act, and Safe Water Drinking Act. The United States also established the United States Environmental Protection Agency, commonly referred to as the EPA. These new regulations would regulate public drinking water, protect wildlife, put constraints on pesticides and ocean dumping, and provide for research in these areas.
And now we present to you Logan, the Wandering Hippie.
Ooh. Hey, I work for a local news station. Would you like to be interviewed on your views on the environment?
By who?
By a local news corporation.
Okay.
How long have you been a part of the environmentalist movement?
About 5 years.
What made you join?
When my friends and I learned about the Bikini Atoll nuclear testing, we were outraged, and we felt that it was necessary for us to make a stand to save the environment.
And how has that stand gone for you? Has there been any significant change?
I feel like we are moving towards a much cleaner America. The environment is increasing dramatically. Changes are being made, and I feel we are doing good. We're helping the world one bit at a time.
So what do you think about the future of the movement?
I feel like there is progress. I do see us doing better in the future when more people are aware. And I would love to stay and answer more questions, but I actually have to go right now. There's a speech going downtown, and I must see it. Goodbye.
The Earth is the home of probably every living thing in the universe, and humans are destroying the whole thing faster than greased lightning. In the last 20 years, war has ravaged the countryside, destroying the homes of thousands of animals. How do you think they feel about all that has been done to their natural habitats? Oil spills have killed the oceans, the lifeblood of planet Earth, while nuclear testing has destroyed whole islands and the people who live near them. And it's not just individual catastrophes either. Air pollution, water pollution, and even solid pollution is getting to be a huge problem for the world. When you flush the toilet, where do you think it goes? It goes to the oceans and the water, and that means the fish have to live in it. How do you think they like that? Once we start acting, our whole Earth is going down the drain, and all the living things ever will go with it. And that's why we need to tell those guys in Washington to start fixing the problems. There won't be a Washington to vote for very soon, and that isn't very good for their chances at re-election.
There goes that Logan hippie again, always protesting Jim and his company, Raytheon, and their nuclear testing.